Hello and welcome back to the Animanga podcast, where we talk about all things anime and manga. Today we are talking about season 1 of My Hero Academia, another one of my favorite animes. I am joined currently by Jay-Z and Retsu for this
Hello.
one. So
Hola.
missing a couple of people otherwise, but we'll see how we go today.
Alrighty then. First
so
things
welcome,
first.
boys.
What do we think about quirks, guys?
Quirks are awesome,
I think
but the randomness, yeah.
it's a super negative for me. I hate that randomness. Just like you said, like that's because you never know. Like I guess your parents could know what you could possibly get, but
I'd say some of it
Even-
could be some of it can
Yeah.
be genetics, but a lot of it is just random.
like I know Bakugo is the first in his house to have a quirk, which got super lucky. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, like that.
Meanwhile, Todoroki was created.
Yeah.
do we know that yet though? I don't
No,
remember.
but-
I don't think so.
Oh no, we don't know that it's season 1, but anyway,
Yeah,
we're talking quirks. It's gonna come up.
right.
I also like how it's a physical power system, not like how chakra or spiritual pressure exist. Like it's all
Right.
physical abilities. You're born with it, and it's genes in your body.
Right.
Mhm.
I would hate to get a heteromorph.
It's kind of doesn't sound right whenever you say it that way.
I know.
No, I think quirks are super cool in this show. I feel they'd be a really cool thing in real life if that were true, but again, it's all random on what you would get. So, I guess in a sense, what do you guys think your quirk would be?
I don't know. I don't.
I don't know either. I can't lie.
Or I guess what would you want your quirk to be?
I would clearly want something element based though.
Yeah, probably like fire, ice, electricity, something like that.
So you want to be the Avatar?
That'd be
I mean,
freaking sick.
I don't need all of them. That would be insane. But one of them, something.
That would be insane if you could have all of them. I'm not gonna lie.
But that is
See, I
very
would-
basic to say that.
See, I would go outside the box with this, and I would want something more of like a Wolverine Logan style.
Right.
Got the
That'd be
blades coming
pretty
out the
good.
fingers, and you basically can't get killed.
So I think something like Sue's would be cool. She's basically a frog, but she's not a heteromorph, so she's still a human looking, but she has all them powers. So like some sort of animal-esque thing would be sweet, without being a
Gotcha.
heteromorph. That is.
There's just too many. Like you could literally make up anything in it. I bet.
Oh
it
yeah,
could be a
that's
quirk.
the cool thing about quirks is it could be anything.
I'd say it could be anything like Bakugo's explosion hands, or just having really long fingers on one hand.
Yeah, like the dude
Kid
that
at the
follows him.
beginning. That's freaking-
Yeah.
I remember whenever we were talking about that, when we were watching it with Hanshi, we were like, those quirks are so useless. I don't know how any of those guys are going to be heroes. He's literally like moving his eyes out of his skull for no reason. And that's all he can do.
Yeah, it was. No, thank you.
It's just so funny. I also think the art style for the anime itself is just generally funny. More
Oh, yeah.
more funny
It's-
and lax than like a Naruto Shippuden would be.
Oh yeah.
It gets
and
it gets a little
It's
more
meant to
serious
look like-
looking as it goes, but
yeah, but it just has that comic book like feel to it.
which is what drew
Similar
me
to
in.
like, yeah, similar to like the Walking Dead games and stuff. Which, funnily enough, I didn't care for the Telltale Walking Dead games. But this anime has very much like comic book esque style, not necessarily like manga style, but comic book, like U.S. comic books.
Right, which is probably why it's so big here in America.
It recently got added to Netflix. You know that?
Yeah, but it's only up to season 4 on Netflix.
Oh, gotcha.
Because trust me, I got kind of excited about that. I'm like, ooh, My Hero's on here. Oh, it's only season 4. Rip.
Season 6 all day.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our MC. What do we think of him?
I'll let Lego go first on that one.
Our main character. I know that a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I really do like Midoriya as a character. because there's a lot of things I can kind of relate to him with in the like bullying of Bakugo growing up, but not having him turn friend. So I relate to him some ways. That's why I really like Midoriya as a character. The crying and stuff that happens a lot in season 1 and season 2, very excessive, but I do genuinely like him as a character.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
again, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I know you two are going to disagree with me
Oh,
on
for
that.
sure.
But
I
Absolutely.
personally have nothing wrong with Deku. I just think that this anime and manga does such a good job at developing the side characters. That they
Agreed.
outshine Midoriya for the majority of the entire anime and manga until I would say probably around season 4, where he really starts to become the most, active overall.
and kind of the most powerful one of the entire class.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, he's probably already the most powerful, but he has no control.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Which makes him one of the weakest.
Correct.
What do we think about the main side character, Bakugo?
I mean, he's badass.
I hate him.
He's
Just kidding.
he's
Bakugo's
badass,
great.
but he's terrible at the same time.
But even within this first season, you could see there's already character growth within him.
Oh yeah, he wants that hero. He wants the hero not for the fame. He wants to just be a hero to be a hero. Same with Midoriya, but he's just so aggressive in everything he does, which again we see later in his mother, which I found really funny.
Right.
Yeah, I love that scene because you do take after your parents most of the time, and they're like identical twins. They're like the
Oh, yeah.
exact same person, just a female version. I thought that was awesome.
Easily. Yeah, so I mean, at the beginning of the show, we see Midoriya like quirkless and everything, trying to save Bakugo from the slime monster or from the slime villain. Sure. Anyway, back into this. So at the beginning of the show, we see Midoriya quirkless, just walking down the street and trying to figure things out in his life and deal with the bullying that Bakugo has going on. To this slime monster or slime villain that All Might caught lost because of Midoriya when they meet up randomly in the street. Bakugo gets captured by him and is like being taken over, and Midoriya just running in to try and save him.
Like dumbest thing he could have ever done, but extremely heroic.
Oh yeah, like he wasn't even thinking about himself in that point, which what makes the heroes in the show so great.
Yeah, like you see Bakugo do that stuff later.
So All Might then helps save them and everything, and after all of that, you just see All Might take Midoriya under his wing to basically get his quirk.
I think what submitted me to like Bakugo right away was he like after that whole incident, he just tracks Midoriya down just to tell him that he doesn't need his help. I don't know what that was, but I was like, that's cool. I actually like that.
I don't know.
I like it.
Kind of hated that.
I loved it. I love I love characters that are so confident and then they change and like they're so confident, but like
Right.
they help other people.
Right. That's so, and that's what I was saying. He had so much character growth because later during the USJ thing, he has full faith in his fellow students that they could take care of themselves, and he doesn't need to go help them.
Exactly. And that's just from him watching them all in their own little exam with All Might as well. That's all. That's all it took was just one recording, 15-minute recording of everybody.
Right. And wait, what's your thoughts on the way One for All is passed down?
Eat this.
I think I don't know.
It's definitely weird that he had to like eat a chunk of his hair.
It could have been a lot worse.
Because I mean, like,
Oh,
it could have been. It really could have been a lot worse. But it's just one of those things. Like I saw that, and all I could think of is like, it just getting a hair in like a food order from somewhere. And it's like, that is the most disgusting thing ever. You lose your appetite instantly.
Oh yeah.
And here he is being forced to eat a hair to get a power.
I would just
I mean, it could
inject
have been a
hot dog.
finger.
Yeah, it could have been a finger.
Yeah.
You never know.
Could've
Could have been
been-
a finger.
Could have been his own father.
Yeah.
I would just inject the hair into a hot dog and then eat it like 3 hours later. That's the only way I can think of doing
God.
it without like, you know what I mean? Just,
Oh, just
Cold
put
hot-
it in
cold
like
hot
a,
dog?
a glass of water and chug it.
or
Something.
like a pot roast. Just throw it in there and
Oh
call
my
it a
God,
day.
that's so gross.
Oh man.
So eventually, like Izuku then gets after he proves himself to All Might, getting absolutely shredded, cleaning up a beach.
Yeah,
which
he
I
got
sometimes
very
wish I could
shredded.
do that. Just clean up a beach and be able to lift a fridge on my own and just get absolutely jacked off of it. Mm-hmm. Goes to the entrance exams and everything because he gets, or he doesn't. He's not accepted yet at that point, but he goes to the
No,
entrance exam.
he gets the invitation. Well,
Yeah,
kind of. All Might gets him the invitation.
yeah. Goes to the entrance exam though and meets Tenya Ida.
I think he actually
who
meets
thinks
Ochako
nothing of
first,
him.
right?
Yeah, he meets
he?
Ochako first, and then Ida.
He
Okay.
trips and falls. We get that.
Yeah.
We get that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
soundboard.
failure, which he doesn't say, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, meets Ochako, who is one of my favorite characters, and again, I don't really
One
care
of
what
Red
people say.
Sleeve's favorite
I think she's
characters.
amazing.
I like Ochako.
I think she's an amazing character, just not my cup of tea for characters. Like I'll admit when someone's a really good character, for sure.
Fair enough.
But I might not enjoy that type of goody two shoe character off the rip. Or at least that is how she comes off in season 1.
That's how she comes off, but I mean, she's not, but
Yeah.
that is how she comes off. But Ida, however, straight up
Ida
lawful good
comes off
paladin.
as like, Ida straight up comes off as like, I'm gonna overpower you. You are nothing to me and my family and what we are. And I mean, I can see where he's coming from with that because at that point, Midoriya has done nothing. Nobody knows who he is other than Bakugo.
Well, they don't find out about his family till halfway through the season, I think.
I think it's season 2, but anyway.
No, it was halfway through season 1.
Oh.
But anyway,
they talk about how
Ida
he's
did.
rich.
Ida did see how Midoriya took down the big thing, so he does know he's strong.
Yeah, that's Midoriya taking down the giant robot that was worth absolutely nothing to save Uraraka was, I mean, in my opinion, fantastic.
It's super
Like,
cool, but super hilarious with his feet dangling behind him.
Oh yeah, and he can't save himself, so she has to save him.
The truth of the matter is, he ended up saving a lot more people than just her because he ended up getting like 70
Oh,
something
God, yes.
rescue points. That's 1 point per person. That's like the entire people in his little unit of the exam.
Right?
So
Yeah, but yeah, so I think we also partially meet Todoroki in that as well. We don't see him; he doesn't talk much, but he's there. He kind of just wins the whole thing.
wait for
Yeah.
the entrance exam.
The entrance exams.
He hasn't partaken in the entrance exams.
Yeah, he was just a straight suggestion. He got in because of
Because of his dad.
Because Endeavor's his dad, but we don't know that
okay.
yet.
But
But that's why he got in.
Bakugo is the one who got
Again,
the
some
highest
things
score.
I should have rewatched the show for, but I was not able to.
Right.
I
It was
yeah.
Todoroki, Momo, and somebody else were all suggestions. I don't know if
No.
it was anyone else in this class,
Yeah, I
but
think they split those two. I mean, those 4 students into both classes. Because I know
Yeah.
one of them's Mudman.
oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who the 4th one is. But I also wanted to say
But-
it was Bakugo who got first in that exam.
Was it Bakugo? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
I
was
must have
Bakugo.
just mixed them up. I may be thinking about later on in the show.
He like
then.
way outscored
Yeah.
everybody in the exam.
Right. And then we
Yeah.
also saw Aoyama there using his naval laser, which is very strong, honestly.
It's a very interesting quirk.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, this is where we're going to start getting into the ranking of
Interesting.
things here. so
Shut up.
going into his class now, we have Yuga Aoyama, Mina Ashido, Suyu Asui, wow, English, Tenya Ida, Ochako Uraraka, Mashiro Ojiro, Denki Kaminari, Eijiro Kirishima, Koji Koda, Rikido Sato, Mezo Shoji, Kyokujiro, Hantasero, Fumikage Tokoyami, Shoto Todoroki, Toru Hagakure, Katsugi Bakugo, Izuku Midoriya, Minoru Mineta, and Momo Yaoyorozu, who that is in the order of their class seats from the show. Again, I am looking at a website here with all this information. I think all three of us were looking at the same website at one point today, if not right now.
Yes.
But we all have made up lists of who we feel is our order of top 20, I guess, in a sense, or what order we believe they are in. And I was like, personally, I went based off their quirks, because we do find out what their quirks are in season 1, even if they don't use them.
Most of them. I don't know for sure if we forgot or found out all of them, because I don't remember them saying a couple of them.
I figured we just talk about them anyway, since we're going through this.
That's fair.
Do we want to finish the USJ incident first and then do it?
Yeah, I would save the ranking.
You want to
part
go with
for
that
last?
Okay, so let's keep going then.
Well, before we get into that, I gotta say, I think my second favorite character in the entire series is Shoto Aizawa. I love
Their homeroom teacher.
Yeah. The teachers, man, or like your sensei types, they're always a home run for me, especially whenever they do exams that get kids kicked out, because it's actually probably better for them not to be in it. Like that's something a good person should
like
do.
one of the coolest characters of the entire show.
Oh, he's
like
so cool.
His quirk too is insane, which again we can always discuss later on. But he does use it in season 1 against Midoriya
lot.
quite a
He uses
few
it a lot.
times.
And he's at every disadvantage. Like they even, like Shigaraki even says, your quirk isn't meant for more than a couple people, if not even a 1v1, and you don't have the endurance to do this. Like there's no way he shouldn't have even stood a chance, but he almost did.
Shigaraki also agreed with us in calling him so cool many times.
Such a badass Eraser. It's freaking awesome.
But yeah, he tests all the students and tells them that the last place is going to be kicked out. And of course, because he erased Midoriya's quirk, Midoriya was last place. Which he erased it because he saw when he uses it, he's basically useless afterwards. And he tried to teach him a lesson of you can't be useless on the battlefield. And if you're going to be useless, you might as well not be here.
He found a way around, though.
But yeah, he found a way around, and he, used a little bit. He still didn't score very highly, but he was able to minimize the damage. But he still got last place. But because he was able to use his brain and find a workaround, Aizawa said nobody's getting kicked out. So
That's it. And we just we were talking about this when we recorded our Naruto episode a little bit ago, is like good leaders, like you said, and I see like Aizawa and Kakashi like as the same person, basically. They're a no nonsense teacher, but they see like people who think outside the box as useful.
They're also kind of similar in Kakashi reads his novel while Aizawa takes naps.
They got their side hobbies, man. Priorities, man. I'm on Aizawa's boat with the nap thing. Stuff works well.
That's I love me a good nap. So, do we want to move to the USJ? You want to
Might as well, because not
there's
very
not much that happens in between other than just testing and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of inter-character development, but not really all that much happens.
Yeah.
You get to see their costumes once, and that's about it before then.
We could talk about the USJ.
Which Midoriya's costume, like I know it was planned to look like basically an All Might ripoff, but it's so blatant, it's hilarious.
It was very endearing that he wore the one his mom made too, though.
Before, I will say,
I guess there is one thing that happened. They did have the where they split up 2v2 heroes versus villains, which
the only match that really was even.
Well, they only showed one full match, and it was the only one that mattered.
That is where we got to see.
They paired
90%
Midoriya and
quirks,
Bakugo, and they fought each other the whole time.
So
Right.
I think we should talk about their all the side characters. At least say what their quirks are and stuff, because before we even rank them.
Yeah, let's go over their quirks before we even get to USJ.
I guess what I was thinking is when we go to rank them is we'll just go through one at a time and say what number we put them at.
That works for me. Let me go to that website real quick.
Yeah, the fight between Midoriya and Bakugo, like, just shows their.
It shows how both of them are like very high level combat thinking. That is.
Izuku's very thought heavy to try and outsmart his opponent, where Bakugo just tries to overpower him.
Yeah, but then halfway
And-
through the fight, he realizes he can't just overpower him, and then he starts to use his brain as well.
He realizes that power isn't everything. He has to be smart too.
Right, but
it's-
they both got yelled at for using massive power moves in an enclosed space.
And against another student.
I think it speaks volumes to two of the other characters, though, that only two people out of all the students noticed that that Bakugo like switched from going just straight power to being like a genius battle IQ. Because Momo and Shoto both say like almost at the exact same time that he has to be super smart if he knows how to do the physics behind his quirk while in
Right.
air and moving his body in the air like that. Like there's math involved, I would assume. But
Probably a lot more than I'll ever know.
it's not like Kaminari where you just shoot lightning everywhere, electricity everywhere, and hope for the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that's powerful.
Yeah, it
but-
definitely is powerful. Imagine if he was smarter.
Right.
Imagine if his quirk didn't fry his brain.
Imagine
Yeah.
if during the USJ, how Jiro says, "Why didn't you like put in any like ideas about like aiming equipment for your electricity?"
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, I didn't think of that." That's funny.
It's because he fries his brain every time.
I'm down to go over all their quirks if you guys want to, real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. So you just want to go seat at a time?
Yeah, just 1 through whatever.
All right. So Yuga Aoyama.
He's got
His
that
quirk
naval
is-
laser.
Can be super powerful, but it just has too many downsides, in my opinion. It hurts after 1 second of use.
Right.
Yeah, it destroys his stomach like us after Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's every time he does it, and it leaks too. He says it leaks. That's why he's got to wear the belt.
Right.
He's like, my tummy leaks. So
Then we have Mina Ashido.
heteromorph right there.
She is a heteromorph, but she actually has some like actual. What is her quirk called?
I believe it is.
That's something to do with acid. I don't know the exact name.
Acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, quirk acid. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. So she can shoot acid out of her fingers and stuff like that, which is very, very potent.
She can
and
like glide
lots of
on it
other
too.
stuff.
Yeah. She did that in the Aizawa's test.
And then we have Suyu Asui, quirk frog,
Making her like a
which is one
frog.
of my, which is
She's
one of mine and my
Spider-Man,
girlfriend's.
but frog.
Yeah, it's one of my girlfriend's like favorite things when I've had this show on is when it shows her. It's like Suyu Asui, quirk frog, and it's very, very funny every time we hear it.
I don't know if
Sue's
you guys.
one of my favorites. I love Sue.
I don't know if you guys caught it.
Her
Whenever
voice-
they get like stuck on the ship in the water zone, and she's going over her abilities, and then she goes, "I can secrete some type of mucus," and then Mina's like, "A mucus," and he starts like
Yeah.
blushing like crazy.
And I can expel my stomach to clean it, but that won't be useful.
Yeah. Then we have Tenya Ida,
Engine.
who has
Engine.
engine, which allows him to run really, really quickly.
Yeah, his is like it looks cool and it's really like it is cool. It's super cool and very useful, but I don't know if I would want engines in my calves.
Well, he can make his calves not have them, and then they like have them. Like,
That's true.
Yeah. His like pop out for various
I
reasons
don't know
when
about
needed.
later on his new ones, whatever they're ginormous, but I know the little ones they can at least like. I think he does it in the USJ. Like they're not there, and then boom, they form around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and then we have Ochako Uraraka, whose quirk is zero gravity. She can make things float. Very, very fun. But if
Yeah,
she makes
it's-
herself float, she gets sick.
Right. Hers would be hard to beat for most people. Some people are like easy, like Bakugo, because he could control himself in the air. But most people, she touches them, it's over.
That's like her quirk and Bakugo's quirk could be very useful together because she can make
Right.
him weightless and he can really get going and just
Yeah.
absolutely obliterate
Just
somebody.
gives him more
Oh, yeah.
speed because he doesn't weigh anything.
Right.
Exactly. Then we have Mashiro Ojiro, quirk tail.
Yeah, he literally just has a tail, but he's really good at martial arts, so it helps.
Then there is Denki Kaminari, quirk electricity. He basically fires electricity out of his body and makes it and fries his brain at the same time.
Well, if he goes over a certain
Limit, yeah.
limit.
I feel like that's just like it's such a good quirk, but the downside of it, I cannot believe they made that the downside of it. Oh my god! Like
It's not the only downside though,
It's not the only downside, but it's a very
because
creative downside.
he can't control where it goes.
yeah, but with gear and stuff, he honestly could control it pretty easily where it goes with gear.
Right, but the quirk itself.
I just
He
wish
can't.
it wasn't the brain thing, man. I wish there was like only like a certain
Right.
wattage unit like limit because being out of
Well,
a
it
fight
is
being out
once
of
he
a
goes
fight.
over a certain limit. Yeah.
but like being out of a fight is just like how Aizawa said, it's not practical.
No, yeah, but I mean that's up
But
to
that's
him.
why you train. That's why
training
you
to
train
use his
your-
quirk
train your
better.
quirk. It's like training your muscles. You gotta
Right.
lift to make them stronger. They gotta use quirks to understand how they work and control
Mm-hmm.
them. All right. Next up, we have Ejiro Kirishima, who is, I believe, his quirk is called hardening.
I believe it is.
It's a good quirk. I can't
His
lie.
is
Yeah,
cool.
hardening.
It's a really good quirk because he's really good at using it already. Because he can harden specific parts. He can harden them to different levels. He could kind of change his arms into blades as well, which is cool.
His becomes much more powerful later on in the show.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
way more powerful. But like he's already really good at using it at this point.
Yeah, I think it's one of those quirks that it's not flashy, but it is super good. Like no matter, like you could be in any situation, and that quirk could probably be perfect for a situation.
Right. Right.
Oh yeah. Jay Z, you want to do the next few?
I mean, I don't know the names of their quirks, but
Okay, never mind.
Sure,
then.
I got
will
it, I got
continue
it. Up next is Koji Koda. His quirk is
You speak
Annie voice, which lets him talk to creatures.
pretty much manipulating
Which
them
on.
we-
Which again
to do whatever he
doesn't
wants.
Right.
really come into play until until I believe next season. Season
Right.
2.
Which, yeah, right now, he didn't do anything this season at all.
There's no
Yeah.
animals
He's
in
kind
the
of a
USJ.
useless character this
is there?
season.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some like insects and stuff, but like he didn't really get a chance to do
Yeah,
anything.
he like could control bugs and things like that, but he never got a chance to use it in the USJ.
Right.
He's
And then-
he's just such a timid character as well that you
Yeah.
don't get to see much of what goes on with him.
He had a very situational
Right.
quirk too.
It's true.
Like in the right
Up
environment,
next-
he'd probably be like top 4 student.
Potentially, yeah.
A bunch of lions
Oh,
around the
easily.
area.
Like he's extremely good. Like that, being able to talk to animals and stuff is really good for like surveillance and stuff. Like extremely good for surveillance and stuff. Up next is Rikido Sato with the quirk Sugar Rush, which basically eats a bunch of sugar, gets strong.
That's about right.
I wish I had that one. With
Doesn't
how much
he
like
suffer a severe crash?
pop and candy and stuff. I
Yeah,
eat. I would
so
love
so
to-
he needs to eat 10 grams of sugar just to activate it. He
his lips,
so
bro.
so he gets 5 times stronger for 3 minutes, and every 10 grams additional that he eats, it increases that as well.
Okay.
So that's why he has like pods of sugar
Right.
on his suit.
Gotta bake the cakes, man, too. So I get the ladies.
Got it. Yep.
Every time I see his face, his lips are that big, bro. It freaking freaks me out, dude. Why did they make his mouth so big?
Gotta get all that sugar in. Next one is Mezzo Shoji, which his
Hold on
is
one sec,
called.
Jay Z.
Okay.
It's all the diabetes.
Right. Up next
This
is
is Dupla arms, right?
yeah, Dupla arms, yes. Which is weird looking, and I mean it's very useful though.
I was gonna say,
especially
his quirk of everybody's, I feel, is like one of the most useful because he can make ears, eyes,
You make any human body part
arms.
with any one of the arms.
yes.
Yeah, like his quirk is just absolutely insanely overpowered if used in the right sense.
Yeah, Mineta
Right.
would like that.
Yeah, he probably would have. Next is Kyokujiro. Hers is called Earphone Jack.
She's such a good character, bro. I don't care what anyone says.
Right.
She's
She's a great character.
she's my favorite female
And
cast member.
I just realized something about her looking at her right now in this picture. Her hair has waveforms in it.
Yeah, like
yeah, it does.
Like audio that we're recording with right now. She has waveforms. That's really freaking cool. Mm-hmm. I've never noticed that before.
Hers is pretty good. I can't remember if she uses it for hearing stuff. Oh no, it
yeah.
did say that she could hear stuff that's really quiet.
yeah, and she can
Yeah, I
also
believe
put
she
it into
used
like
it during
walls.
the USJ attack.
And then
Yeah,
she uses it in an attack form by plugging it into a thing to play her heartbeat over speakers, and it's like a wave that hits people.
Yeah, she can hear things from like miles away too, just by touching the ground with the earphone part. The earphone jack. I think that's crazy surveillance just by touching the ground.
Oh yeah, extremely.
Like, I think that like later on, like it's just a better quirk the more you see her use it. And she has the confidence and swagger to tell people what they actually do. Like in
Right.
the USJ when Kaminari's like walking around like a moron because he doesn't know, like he doesn't want to use his quirk, but she causes a humongous chain of events that ends up having them like take out like 4 or 5 people in like a matter of like 5 seconds just by kicking him in the head and telling him to turn his quirk on.
Right. Up next is Hantasero with the quirk Tape, which it seems like a stupid one, but it's very useful and very powerful if used correctly. Because he basically can be like Spider-Man for the most part.
Yeah,
I
it
was
takes a
about
lot
to
of
say,
math.
he's basically Spider-Man, and like he's insanely powerful for no reason.
Right.
Like his is one that he could train like more easily than everybody else's.
The agility
Plus,
you get with that is crazy.
His outfit too cracks me up because I don't know if you guys ever paid attention. It's a tape dispenser.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I found that out, I'm like, I laughed probably for a solid like 2-3 minutes about that, just because it's so ridiculous that I never noticed it, but it works so well.
I didn't even know that till you said it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, look it up, dude. It's really funny.
All right, Rhett, you want to take the rest? You get most of the good ones.
Oh, I know. I was hoping you would let me take the rest of them. I might butcher this guy's name, but Fumakage Tokuyomi. His
Fumikage Tokoyomi.
his quirk is Dark Shadow. It's
so cool.
It's a busted quirk if it's dark outside. If it's light, it's not even.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
there's like less you can do.
I mean, it's basically just like he has a buddy on his back the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, a buddy that just cries and whines during the day and at night gets to have the time of his life. Like, how does he sleep at night? I wouldn't be able to sleep if something was talking to me all night long in the dark.
Right.
I mean, he has some control over him. It's when he's in like extreme darkness that he loses control, but only I believe if I can't remember the quirk's name. Dark Shadow. Yeah, only when Dark Shadow is out does he lose control. If he's like in his like bedroom inside the apartment building and stuff, I'm pretty sure he has pretty good control about it. Plus, I'm sure even if things were to go crazy, they'd figure out a way to take him down.
Probably.
Right.
He's got one of those quirks that I think would be super OP later on in like a. And it had to be a very specific moment and where he's OP. Because if you trap one enemy in a completely dark room, they're done. Unless they have a quirk that emits light, they're done.
Makes light,
It's
that's it.
over. Like there's
Right.
nothing they can do. They probably get decapitated, honestly, on accident. Next we have Shoto Todoroki. His quirk is half hot, half cold. Super bust. No, this is a top 2 quirk in the entire series because he has 2 quirks. Super rare. It's rare to be born with. I mean, I guess it's not rare to be born with one, but to be born with 2 because of circumstances, is so broken, and they complement each other. Like if it was Denki's quirk and fire, it wouldn't be nearly as good as ice and fire. Nowhere close.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, he'll get more shine in season 2 because he only uses
Yeah.
ice in season 1 anyway. Kind of nerfs himself.
Well, he uses heat in season 1, basically only
To
to
melt the
melt the
ice,
ice. Yeah.
If he would use it to fight, I think he would be number 1 overall, in my opinion.
I still think he is. But...
Tora Hagakure, she's invisible. That's her quirk. And
One of the most useless characters in my opinion.
Characters, sure.
Dude, she-
Quirk, not as
dude,
much.
that quirk
it's
could be
it's
so
pretty useful.
good. Yeah, that could be so good. Like if no one would even know she existed. If I wonder how
But at
that.
the same time, I'm comparing it to like Todoroki and Bakugo. Like her quirk is just, it's not great. Like, okay, you're invisible, cool.
So my question is,
That's all she's got going
did
for
she
her.
come out the womb invisible, or did it just turn on one day? Because they don't like their quirks just like activate whenever they hit a certain age.
That's a question I
Well,
had
it
about
depends-
heteromorphs. Were they born
Yeah.
that way, or did the quirk activate and then they changed?
I'm assuming heteromorphs are born
from
that
what
way.
I remember with it, because normally at the age of I think it's like 2 or 3,
I think it's
normally kids start
3.
showing signs. Because Midoriya, like they took him to the doctor and it was something with like the right or the left foot.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah,
like
they look at the
some-
pinky toe.
he hadn't got his quirk
Yeah, there's something
awakening,
about the
so
pinky
they took him to
toe.
the
Quirks-
doctor.
People with quirks have 3 joints in their pinky toes.
No.
It's a very weird
Oh
sign.
yeah,
But
yeah, you're right. It's 3 joints.
Yeah, but like he never got his, so hers she could have come out normal, and then a couple years down the road she just turned invisible and couldn't turn back. Like that would be one I'd be curious on later on if she does learn to control it more, if she can go back to a human form and what she would look like versus invisible all the time.
right, that'd be interesting if she could.
Because in the USJ, she ends up right beside Todoroki the entire time.
He
And
has no idea she's there.
she's there. Yeah, and he's like, I could have frozen her or killed her. Honestly,
Right.
she didn't even say a word either. It's kind of her own fault. But
right, But-
and I think it's very funny that she's like that to be completely invisible. She's naked.
yeah,
right.
I also like how
Like
she
her costume is gloves and boots, and then she's naked.
She probably took those off the moment she got teleported just to be safe. I like how she was always
Yeah.
like, she was boasting Todoroki's character too. Like she's like, he's so awesome. He goes, I didn't even know she was there, bruh. And then the next we got Katsuki Bakugo. In my opinion, he's got the most explained quirk in the entire series. If that is my opinion, but I also think it's a fact.
I think it's a fact.
Yeah, like they go over in very high detail about his quirk explosions with nitroglycerin sweat in his palms, which is crazy. Like, the applications this quirk has is insane. Like,
And the amount of genius he put into his costume,
yeah, he's
just taking advantage of it.
And I only think that him and probably Momo are the only 2 that did that. If I'm thinking about it correctly, let me. Yeah,
And Ida's is pretty advantageous to his too.
yeah, you're right. It is. But like, the fact that he already knew he could store the sweat.
And I guess Jiro too, because I'd imagine her boots are part of her
Oh.
costume, and that's how she uses that. So she's part of
And
that.
she did say that Denki should have done it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That honestly, I kind of want to change my list, but Jiro up higher now. Knowing that. So broken.
I'm committed to mine, so
We're next we got Izuku Midoriya. Obviously, he has the quirk one for all. Kind of,
Which at this point in season 1,
it's kind of useless.
pretty useless.
well, kind of useless for him because he can't control it. It's too powerful for him. But all we know about it right now is that it gives like super strength.
Then we got Minoru Mineta. His quirk is pop off. Throws purple balls.
He is hands down, in my opinion, the most annoying character in this entire
He's the
show.
worst character by far.
Yeah,
most useless. Period.
and like I understand. Like it's anime. You're gonna have, like,
It's got that. What's the saying?
you're gonna have the very sexualized characters with like big breasts and stuff like that. But his obsession with it, it's very odd and very creepy.
He takes it too far. Like there's pervy characters like Jiraiya, but like Mineta takes it further than him.
Yeah. I think the only scene I like of Mineta,
yes and no.
You can't say, there's literally no way to say no when he's feeling up Sue.
yeah, every
That's fair.
every time that like something happens, he's touching her private, like, or
But I guess
her
at the
chest.
same time, Jiraiya's creeps on like the hot springs quite a bit to get inspiration.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mineta
Mineta would
tried,
be
but
right
he-
next to him.
Mineta tries, but he fails. But that is also true. Is where Jiraiya just looks at them, where
Yeah.
Mineta's going after them.
Yeah, you don't see him groping Tsunade.
Yeah, he would get
True.
fucking.
He would love to,
he'd
but she
get
would destroy
dogged in
him.
the face if he grew up Tsunade. I will say my favorite
Yeah.
scene of Mineta though is whenever I think it's later. I think it's maybe season 3. She's like a certain season where he.
The midnight one?
Yeah, like the fact that
Yeah.
Sero got under the spell and he didn't, and he was really pissed. I thought that was really funny because like that's all he wanted.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
All right, we got one more.
Yeah, Momo Yaoyorozu. I think she has probably the most universal,
Most useful.
most useful and
Yeah.
universal quirk. Like, and she's a genius behind it. So she is.
She has to be or it'd be useless.
Essentially, her quirk is creation, where she anything that she knows the molecular level of, which all that takes is reading a book and like learning about it, like each part of the thing. She can create with the fat
She
lipids in
has
her
to know
body.
them down to the atom is the thing. Like she has to know it down to
Right.
its atomic structure to be able to create it.
Yeah.
Like,
So like
knowing there's a point later on in the show where she creates a cannon
right.
and like she has to know what exact like metal to use for the cannon so it doesn't blow up on them, as well as cannonball, and like she has to know so many different things all at once, which makes her hands down, in my opinion, the smartest character in this show.
Wait, she
Yeah.
is. She's
above-
the smartest
She
character.
is.
Yeah.
She's legitimately.
Yeah, she's above everybody else, especially the principal and all of them. She is miles above every character in this show.
Right. Like if someone like Mineta had that power, it would be absolutely useless.
Yeah, he'd be making the most
Yeah.
diabolical shit. I can.
If he could even
goodness.
make it.
Yeah. Okay, so getting into our list here, we all decided to make some lists of our order of
USJ.
characters. We talked about the USJ the whole time, essentially.
Barely.
And we're at 45.
I think while we were going
So,
over their
all right.
quirks, we gave a very good amount of information on the USJ. I think the only thing we need,
Yeah,
like,
but we didn't
left
we
need to
didn't
talk
cover the
about
most important
is
stuff about
yeah.
it.
I think we still need to talk about
What?
Shigaraki and the Nomu and
Oh,
Aizawa
go for it.
getting absolutely
Yeah.
destroyed. Well, how I see it is, I think Shigaraki is at first a childish
a
villain.
whiny little bitch.
Yeah, he's a very childish.
Yeah,
villain.
he's
very
he's
childish.
basically just an angsty teen
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. I didn't like him at when we first met him. I didn't like him at all.
He definitely
he didn't even feel scary.
Yeah.
Like not even a little scary. Like he did slightly decay Aizawa, but
He gets 100
Yeah.
times better. I cannot lie. He's
Oh,
one
no
of the
shit,
best
yeah.
new gen villains out there.
He gets way better in the
oh,
in
he's
the later
incredible.
seasons,
but this
like,
season he
this
was
season
trash.
terrible.
Yeah, he's very underwhelming. He gets stopped by bullets.
I mean, it's it's impressive what he did to the gate when he snuck in,
Yeah.
but still, that's because no one was watching.
And Aizawa.
The Nomu fight though, with
Nomu, yeah.
yeah, the Nomu, like that first Nomu was just insane. Like the other, like later on, again, this is where we'll talk about it later. The Nomu in season 1 is just insanely powerful.
It was right, and it was made perfectly to counter All Might,
and it still
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. I'm gonna do it.
and it still couldn't because All Might's All Might. But
It got very close. Honestly, if All Might wasn't in his
Yeah.
prime, that wouldn't have been.
oh, like you said,
like-
if he was in his prime, it would have taken 5 punches. This time, it took him 300.
oh yeah,
His 300 probably like in like 30 seconds. I'm not gonna lie. That was so
right,
fast.
right. It was so
Yeah.
fast.
But I want to talk about Aizawa. That man put
Mm-hmm.
in the work. Like that.
He put on a show.
I guarantee you, if someone didn't like Aizawa because of the way like that they view teachers, and they, like how like we like the way Aizawa teaches, but if someone didn't
Right.
and they saw that, they'd be like, okay, he's actually a really good person that really cares for his students, because that Nomu almost destroy his face, and then Shiggy
Yeah.
goes.
And so all he cared about was saving Midoriya,
yeah,
or not
Sue.
Midoriya, Sue, saving Sue. Yeah.
The fact that Shigaraki had to acknowledge that he was a badass because of that.
He's like, you really are so cool, is what he said.
Ah, man. As all those disadvantages, he almost won too. If that Nomu wasn't there, I guarantee he would have won. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
no questions asked. The only person that he probably wouldn't have been able to beat would be Kurogiri because he doesn't have a real body that he can like physically see.
Right.
He can't turn that quirk off because the body isn't really there.
Well, technically, there's that part
It is, but
that you could see. I don't know if it would
He-
work. I
That's-
don't know if he could shut it off with just that.
because I know he uses the mist to cover the body on the very
Right.
surface of it.
But his the capture tape or whatever it's called, the cloth. I think it's cloth is what he called it. I can't remember.
It's like some type of
but that
carbon
stuff's super
alloy.
cool. Yeah, yeah, super cool. His like shutter shades, for lack of a better term, that he wears just so you don't know who he's
he's
targeting.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do need to give Shigaraki credit that he figured out.
What
The tell.
Yeah, because he was jumping around like crazy. Like your hair would move in the wind. And no matter when you're jumping, like it's gonna be up in the air almost probably more than half the time.
Right.
But as soon as his quirk activates, his hair goes up, and it's just that's a very obvious.
Shigaraki did say it was really hard to tell at first whenever there was a lot of people because he was constantly moving.
Right.
But the moment like the numbers like were like at the end of the fight, I think he like was on the last 3, and then Shigaraki he was like I could tell. And then obviously the interval started getting shorter.
But props for even trying to figure it out, honestly.
And the fact that he even has the speed to like, he has the speed to counter Aizawa. We saw it, like,
Oh, yeah. Which, yeah.
and his quirk is, that is a busted quirk.
Decay is a scary, busted quirk, but as he is right now,
It's not. It's
It's
too
not.
slow. It's too slow right now. Like the quirk's decaying aspect is way too slow.
yeah, like he was literally holding Aizawa for probably 5 seconds, and all it did was basically take his skin off.
Well, it destroyed his elbow.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
all the
Yeah,
bones
it
on the inside.
completely-
Were
it
gone.
completely
Yeah.
destroyed his elbow.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
They had to like, I don't know how she possibly healed that. If he said like all of his bones were, like it literally destroyed the inside, but the outside was like just red. I don't know.
That's because the nurse is something else in that show. I forget her name.
Recovery
but
Girl.
Recovery Girl. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she didn't. So he I don't think she used her power on him because he was so messed up. He probably would have died.
Yeah, you're right because it takes energy to do it. She probably
All she does is use your body's energy and focuses it on healing.
she probably had to wait like a day, wait from the wake up, have his energy back, and then do like a minute
least.
amount of healing for the parts that are the most seriously damaged, and then wait a
Right.
couple
So
of days.
one of the best parts of the USJ fight as well, and I know I'm sorry I kept trying to skip the USJ
You're
fight
fine.
a little bit. But one of the best parts is how they were able to get Ida to escape,
Yeah.
like get him out of
That's-
there and
that's-
get him to go.
That's
get
points
the
for
other
Uraraka
teachers.
right there.
I don't know about that,
Yeah.
bro.
Especially after 13 goes down. Like, I mean, her quirk is also really, really strong, but Kurogiri screwed her
Yeah.
because she decayed, or not decayed, but she, like, I forget what it's called.
Black hole.
What her quirk is. Yeah, she black holed herself,
I don't
essentially.
get that because she obviously she wears an astronaut suit, but like later on
It sucks. It sucks in matter
I
is what
sucks
it
in
I know,
does.
matter.
but later
It
on she
does what a
takes her
black hole
helmet off
does.
in season 6, and she's just she looks like a normal person.
Well, they show
I
you
think
her
the
laying in
suit-
bed in the hospital bed. She's a normal
It's just
person.
weird that like
No, she's not. She's in her suit.
yeah, she's in her suit. It's just weird that like they didn't take her suit off. You know what I mean? To like heal her.
They did.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
No, they don't.
Yes, they did. I literally just
in
watched
season
it.
1.
Yes, they did. They don't show you her face or anything, but they show her suit sitting beside her and her laying in the bed.
Is part of her body gone?
Oh, okay.
She's laying on her back. Her back would have been what was gone.
Yeah, probably she probably destroyed her own back, but yeah, like her power is again another one of those ones that's it's super overpowered for no reason, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
I always thought like whenever I watched it, like I don't know, like 4 years ago, I always thought that she was the suit. She's like,
I did too.
I thought she
I
was
did
at
too.
first as well.
I absolutely did too.
whenever she took her helmet off in season 6, I was like, huh? I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got me there.
That's because you like, just like you guys apparently did, you gloss over the fact that she is laying there in bed as a person.
Yeah.
I almost did too, but I knew to pay attention for it this time.
All right. I'm ready to go over our class ranking to win.
Yeah, let's do that now.
I am too. All right, so I say we start with number 20 and we work our way up.
Okay.
So, because obviously number 1 to me is going to be the strongest person in the class, or who we think is the strongest or best. And number 20 is going to be the weakest.
Well, I basically did my list by partially what they did, partially how useful they are. My last
I
is
went
probably
off
not
of
going to be the same as
quirks.
you guys's because I know who your last probably is, and they should be
Yeah.
there. But the person in my last literally did nothing the whole season.
Yeah. I guess going off of knowing what their quirks are is how I based mine.
I based mine kind of similar to JC. I went off a quirk, how intelligent they are, how useful
Right.
they were.
Yeah.
I even like took into account their
Yeah, certain
exam.
characters I will talk about that once I say them on my list. I will talk about why they're there and all
Like
that.
I even took the
I
entrance
feel
exam.
I feel our top threes are going to be very similar, but I know they're not going to be the
Probably.
same.
I personally feel like
The
if
order-
your
the
top
order will probably
three-
be different.
Yeah, like the top 3 should probably be.
Yeah.
I mean, my bad. The top 5 should probably maybe 4 and 5 could be interchangeable.
You don't need to say them yet. We'll get
They
there.
should be all
Yeah,
similar.
I think our top 3 are probably the same, right? But just different order.
Yeah. But anyway, so I had Hagakure in my 20th slot because,
did
again,
not.
I find her to be one of the most useless in this season because her quirk is just invisible. Yes, very good for sneaking around, but that's basically it. So that's my opinion. on it.
I think she's the only one that I gave a boost purely on her quirk
yeah.
because I probably should have had her a good bit lower. She is low, but I should have probably had her a good bit lower, but I didn't because her quirk that we physically see her use because she can't not use it is very good.
Wait, so do we want to go all of our 20s, or you guys just want to go by character?
I was gonna say just do our 20s and then talk.
I got
guess.
Yuga Aoyama as my
'cause-
20th.
Really?
Yes. He does nothing in
Oh
the
my
Pretty
God.
low on my
USJ.
stuff as well.
He does
He didn't do anything in
nothing-
USJ, but we saw him do
He
stuff.
does nothing in the
prior.
USJ. He's not even there, bruh.
Yeah, he
There's
uses his
many
belly
people who
button.
basically do
He
nothing.
wasn't
in
even-
USJ.
Yeah, he
shown.
uses his belly button laser to
That's
cheat
true,
in a
he
race. That's
wasn't.
it.
He wasn't
Shown.
showing at all.
I didn't even think I
Yeah.
should have put him down there.
He
I
wasn't
guess
even-
I have him way
I
higher.
don't, like, he got off the bus and was just gone. I didn't see him one time in the USJ after.
I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the
I didn't
heck?
even.
Yeah, like he's just gone.
and they were asking him where
Yeah,
he
they
was,
were
and he
at-
was like, "I was somewhere secret."
exactly.
Yeah, he was hiding in a bush the
Well,
whole time.
they weren't
show him
actually asking
once.
him where he was. He said,
Yeah.
do you know where I was? Do you want to know where I was?"
And they went,
And
"No
they're
one
like,
cares."
"Yeah, where were you?" He's like, "Somewhere secret."
Yeah, like he just did not exist in the USJ at all.
Right.
For that
All right,
alone.
Cheesy, who you got?
Mine is Coda because he didn't do anything all season at all.
See, Coda then
Coda
was my
will
19th.
skyrocket later, but
Coda was my
he didn't
19
do
slot.
anything. Yeah.
I got Higakure as my 19th slot. I think
I
she,
have Mineta.
I think she did more than Aoyama. Well, she passed the entrance exam too, just like Aoyama, so she has to be somewhat capable of defeating robots with her invisibility quirk.
Exactly. That's why she's not 19 for me.
And it's also funny that we can't see her, but she admits that
Yeah.
she was with Todoroki the whole time, while Aoyama says, "I was just hiding," when she was following him
Right.
around, and he didn't even know.
Right. Well, in the fact that she was there, he didn't know she was there. That's already pretty
Impressive.
cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that she somehow did not get frozen by him is also
pretty-
impressive.
yes. I agree with that. That's funny.
But yeah, my 19
All right.
is Mineta because he is useless. But at least he like tried to do
Well,
something over Coda.
He captured a lot of people with his balls. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but that was more so Midoriya.
Well, I got Mineta at my 18. But Higakure.
I also
Okay.
have I also have Mineta
I
at
have
18.
Mina at 18 because she didn't do anything.
Ashido, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, going to 17 then. I have Aoyama.
I have a group of people who basically didn't do anything from 13 to 17, more or less. Sato is my 17.
Okay. Again, I mostly based mine solely on their quirks and where I feel their quirks are.
I think
this point.
Hagakure's is better than Sato's.
For my 17, I have Coda.
Any
I think all of
Okay,
our lower
so
ones
those-
should be very similar, just in different order.
Right. Yeah.
16, I had Midoriya actually.
Wow. That's low.
Again, I went solely off of quirks at this point. His quirk is pretty useless at this point. It's very strong, yes, but it destroys himself in the process.
Right.
He actually has him lower than I did.
There's
That's
so,
impressive.
but there's I probably have him higher than both of you because I have him higher for different reasons. He should be
Yeah.
higher based on just the quirk, but he gets a lot lower because of not being able to use it. But I have other reasons why he's higher. But my 16 is Hagakure.
Mine's Sato.
So Hagakure ended in like the bottom 5 for all 3 of us then.
Sato for 2 of us.
Yeah. You're going to be disappointed where I have Sato at in my list.
Oh, jeez.
He did.
So 15, who do you guys got?
I have Sarah.
That's Shoji.
Really? I have Asui.
Oh,
Damn, bro. She caught a
I
lot.
Again,
have
at
Asui
this-
way
She
higher.
caught a lot of villains with
See,
the trio up there.
Yeah, I mean, again, like basing this solely on her quirk at this point, we don't see much other than her using her tongue.
Yeah, but
And
she
she's a frog.
A saved the main character. B
Saved him
she
again.
saved him fucking
Yeah.
twice.
3 times,
Yeah,
actually.
but again, you guys did your lists differently than I did. That's
Right.
where we have differencing. I feel our lists are all very good individually, but like
The way we went about it
I
was a
based
little
mine on
different.
one thing. This is where I feel we should have talked about how our list should be ordered before we did this, but that's okay.
Somehow me and Red ended up doing it similar.
Yeah.
I'm just that type of person.
So you got a 15.
Oh, 15? Oh, I already told. Mine was Shoji.
Yeah, mine's Sarah.
Okay.
All we really saw
Gotcha.
Shoji do
14.
was just listen.
Shoji's my 14,
I have
so they're interchangeable. I
yeah,
guess.
I have
in my
Ashida
opinion.
as my 14.
Where's Shoji? Oh, Duplo arms. 14 for me was Ojiro with his tail.
I had him higher because he took out a good bit of villains.
In the fire, by himself. He was solo too. Solo.
Yeah, he was completely
Yeah.
solo, and all he was worried about was going to help everybody else because he
Yeah.
was kicking their asses.
I'd say I like your guys' list so far though.
Yeah,
13.
mine is Aoyama finally
Oh my god. I have Sero.
because that his naval laser does work,
Yeah, for 1 second, bro. 1 second.
but it does work.
I have Sero.
See, I have Jiro in 13.
Yeah, I have her a bit higher.
I only put Sero at 13 because he
But
actually
yeah,
helps take
going
down
just by
Kurogiri.
quirk, I see why you have Jiro down there.
Like her quirk is very powerful, but it's only good in certain situations.
And it's only good because she knows how to use it.
So you guys had who at 13 as well?
I had Aoyama.
I had Sero. He really helped take
Okay.
Kurogiri down.
He did.
And if he probably,
Yeah.
I guarantee if he would have got separated like everyone else, he would have been.
Yeah, if he was sent somewhere else, he probably would have
Yeah.
taken down a bunch
Villains.
of villains.
He's got
But
tape that subdues people, man. That's such a good
Oh, yeah.
quirk.
Funnily enough, I'm editing my list as we're talking right now because I realize I put someone way lower than they should have been.
ooh,
For number 12, you guys are probably gonna hate me for this. I have
for
Ochako
it.
Uraraka.
me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And she's just not useful right now.
See, that's funny because I had
she's
her
not
at 12 as
useful
well, and
enough
I
yet.
had her at 12 as well, but I just moved her up to
okay.
11.
Oh, so we basically all had her at 12 at one
So
point.
we all had her at 12, but I flipped her for Kaminari.
She's in the middle of the road
Okay.
right now. Because
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
like earlier, like even when in her 2v2 match, she didn't really do anything until Izuku told her what to do. She's not like there yet, in my opinion. She hasn't fully grasped
Right.
like that she can become a hero and that her quirk is
Right.
really good. She just has to think to use it, which she does in season
Right.
2. I'm not gonna lie. She proves
Oh
everybody
yeah,
wrong.
absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right. Number 11, I had Uraraka.
I have Ojiro
I
there.
have Midoriya there
Okay. Okay. Decent.
because he does help take out a bunch of those water villains by making the whirlpool. Like without
Right, yeah,
that,
he does.
like they probably wouldn't have gotten out of that area.
And Ojiro's this high for me because he was alone taking out villains like it was nothing.
He also technically helped save Sue too, Midoriya. He instantly reacted once Shigaraki was there.
Right.
He was willing to kill that man to save her.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Well,
He
kind
would
of
have killed
because he
her.
has no
Yeah,
control.
he would have killed her. I mean, killed him. 100%.
Oh yeah. 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 Just because he
Okay.
has no control.
Yeah.
I guaranteed if he could control it, he wouldn't have used full power to punch him.
All right, so number 10 then. I had Ashido.
This is where
I
I
find-
have Kaminari.
I have Asui here.
Okay.
I have Kaminari here. Kaminari's power should be higher, but he's down here because of the lack of control, and he's an idiot.
See, that's why I had him lower on my list.
Yeah, but
But
he's
Ashido, even though she's kind of stupid as well, like her power is decent. Like,
I wouldn't say
Ashido?
she's stupid. Her power would be useless if she didn't have creative ways to use it.
Wait, who? Ashido?
yeah, but I guess
Yeah, Ashido.
yeah. Yeah, she's not, I guess, not stupid in a sense, but she's kind of in the same book as Kaminari. Is she's not the brightest when it comes to everything,
Right.
but she does have a good quirk.
She has a good grasp of her quirk, at least.
Unlike Kaminari, he just shoots it
Correct.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I put
all right, who'd you guys have at
I
10?
put Asui at 10 because
Asui?
even though she
I had Kaminari.
definitely helped, like, by like saving the main character, she technically didn't do anything to those villains. She just maneuvered them around. You know what I mean? Like if they
That's
were
fair.
fighting in the water, I guarantee you she'd be higher because she can fight in the water, unlike those two.
If there wasn't like 20 of
Yeah.
them, I think she would have.
Like that would have been their only other option if the ship
Alright.
wasn't destroyed. To have her pick off one or like snatch one up with her tongue and bring him on the ship. And
Right.
have him
Right.
punch him in the face, set him flying.
Or honestly, just have Mineta
Yeah, stick him to the boat.
keep him
Yeah.
stuck. Yeah.
Like, I bet you that's the plan Midoriya probably would have came up with if that ship did not. fall
Yeah,
apart.
probably.
Like, hey, bring that guy up and have Mineta stick him to right there.
Right. Speaking of that and speaking of Midoriya, he is my number 9. Power wise should be number 1. Control wise should be number 20. But because of the strategic nature, it's his brain that gets him up here at 9 for me.
Okay. I have Sero up here at 9 because his tape quirk
Fair.
was
His quirk is great.
like, extremely useful
Yeah.
in the USJ fight and later on in the show.
Just period. It's just useful. It's good.
I got Kaminari at 9. He took out a lot of villains with his quirk. He actually, like, I think ended up picking up that entire area. of
Yeah, it was a
people.
He
good,
takes
it was
out
a
that
good
entire
battle.
And it
group.
would,
The only person he didn't take out was an electric guy, so that makes sense.
and like that's pretty much like the power of the quirk and the fact that he did that all comes down to Momo being
That's
a
what I
genius.
said. His power would have been way higher, but the downsides and him being an idiot made him lower.
So we're on 8 now,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
My 8 was Tokoyami, just because his power is insanely strong. But again, he loses control in the darkness with it. But I mean, in the USJ fight with, because he was side by side with Todoroki,
Koda.
wasn't he?
No, he was with
Koda,
Koda.
yeah, Koda was like bait.
He was with Koda. Okay.
And Koda wasn't taking anyone out, so it was all Tokoyami.
Yeah, Tokoyami, he's insanely powerful, like just in general.
Absolutely.
I love his style.
I have Jiro here.
Oh, that's funny because I have Kyokujiro at number 8 too.
Yeah, it's 2 we had
Okay.
together. Look at that.
There you
Her
go.
quirk is just so. My bad. Her quirk is not good. She makes it good.
Her quirk is good.
If
she makes it
yes,
great.
because like she's.
Yeah.
I actually think she's really freaking smart. I don't like she passes all of her tests.
She's
And
smart. She is smart, but the quirk is perfect for her personality,
And like we
which is probably worked the other way, but still.
like later on you end up finding out that she's one of the smarter kids in the class. Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but
She is.
like she wouldn't be able to use her quirk that well if she wasn't that smart. Like nowhere
Right.
near at all. I would have never have thought to make my heart beat as a weapon. Yeah,
Right.
like
Right.
if I had that quirk, I would have been thinking of like a megaphone or something.
like the MC.
Yeah, like Mike. Like very similar to Mike.
Yeah,
just
like
hers is
President Mike, yeah.
President Mike. I couldn't remember his name. But anyway, moving on to number 7, I have Sato.
I have Asui.
I have Ida.
Sue, baby.
Okay.
I'm slightly biased on Sue because I really like her, but I do think she has great control over her quirk. She uses it very well, and she saved Midoriya like 3 times.
I would say I'm biased on Jiro,
See,
but
I have Sato up that high because his quirk is insanely useful. Granted, in the USJ fight, it was very useless because he didn't.
Well,
have
there
any
was no one
sugar.
to fight except for a mist guy,
Exactly. So I mean,
and he's not
anybody-
the smartest tool in the shed. Once they figured
Correct.
out what it was, then it kind of helped. But
Yeah, but when he has like the sugar and stuff, he's very useful on the front lines of a battlefield,
right.
which we see later on.
I mean, okay, it's because he worked to make it stronger. Because it only makes him 5 times stronger, but like he actually worked out to make it stronger. So he is pretty strong.
yeah.
I had Ida
Okay,
at
so
7
number 6.
because he's just. I think he's kind of
Yeah,
last
Ida at
lackluster
7.
the first season. He really like.
I see it.
Yeah, but he himself is
Yeah.
the leader.
Yeah. Like he had to
Yeah.
take that role
I mean,
to save everybody. But it
Yeah, he's the take charge guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he saved everybody because he went and got All Might.
Did they vote class president in season 1? Do you remember?
Yeah, but they voted for Midoriya.
And then Midoriya gave
Yeah.
it to him.
Yeah.
So number 6, I had Ida at number 6.
I also had Ida at number 6.
I had Ojiro.
Just because again, he's
Okay.
yeah. So I
Really
mean, I put Ida
feeling
up
the
that high.
Ojiro.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Good.
I put Ida up that high because he is class president and he's very good representation of the class. And,
Yeah,
like,
he
who they
is
are
the
as a
leader.
whole.
Yeah. And his quirk is good.
Even though he is kind of useless up into the USJ fight.
And even then,
a
he's
very-
he's only useful because he runs away on purpose.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
like once
But he's still a
once
great,
he might move
character.
up, even though I already have him at 6, he might move up later because he gets going.
If he would have stayed, I guarantee you those villains on there that Aizawa was fighting, he could have taken out most of those guys because just of his.
Oh
speed.
yeah, I think he
Like,
could too.
I'm not gonna lie. Like the top 5, or like I would say even the top, like depending on what your order is, they could probably take out all those villains together without a problem, like without a scratch. The fact that like the top,
Yeah, I think
the top
my top 6 could easily take out all the
I
villains.
think my top 2 could do it by
maybe
themselves,
one of them
except
can't. Top 2 could absolutely by themselves for me. My number 3, I don't think could take all of them out, but if they were there with one of the others, yes.
like yeah,
all right.
like
Number 5, I have Kirishima because I feel his quirk is just very, very powerful. And even though he's not the brightest of any
He's-
means with it,
but again,
he's very
with his
strong
quirk, he is a
with
genius.
His quirk.
His personality
he's a
suits
genius
that
when it
quirk.
comes to his stuff.
It does.
Yeah.
You ain't beating him.
I have him as number 5 too.
I have Tokoyami as 5.
Okay.
I see it. He did end up beating every single one
all
of
the
them.
same
Mhm.
reasons.
Yeah, he beat all those guys by
Yeah,
himself.
for all the same reasons. So yeah, I have him up here and Ojiro lower. They did the same thing, but I think Tokoyami's quirk is so much better.
Number 4 for me was Shoji with his Duplo arms, just
Oof.
because, like, and yeah, I know I'm gonna get disagreed with on this, but like his quirk is more.
It is very
in-
useful. Yes.
Like I find his quirk to be more useful in a sneaking sense and like a
Oh yeah, like
espionage
see
sense
around corners, hear
versus
around corners,
even-
all kind of stuff.
Yeah, even Hagakure, like even though she's invisible, I find his quirk way more useful in espionage than hers.
Maybe because it seems because he can put multiple ears, it does boost his hearing and stuff. I
who'd you guys have
I
it
have
for?
Kirishima here
Okay.
because he's awesome.
I have Tokoyami, just for the fact
Yeah,
that
so we just
Yeah.
switched those two out, pretty much.
Okay.
I only have him above Ojiro because his
alright.
quirk is just better overall, like output
Right.
wise.
Yeah,
I get that.
'cause Ojiro
alright,
is
so we
good
are
because
two-
he's good at martial arts, so he doesn't get hit as much. Kirishima can get hit and he'd be fine.
You know what? You know what's funny? our top three are all the same three people.
All three of
know-
us,
I know
yes.
they're all the same three people.
The order is probably going to be different. I think the top two is where the order is going to be different. I think all of us probably have the same three.
I don't know. I think Lagoza might have a
So-
different number three. I think he might.
He might.
Because of just the way that he formatted his
So-
list at first.
Right.
My number 3 is
Never mind.
Yaoyorozu.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All of us have Momo number
Yeah,
3.
That quirk is so busted, bro.
It is, and she is at this point when I first watched the show, it was between her and Todoroki for my favorite character because they're just so good. She's so smart. She uses her quirk perfectly, and she's just so observant. She's really cool. She's the VP for a reason.
But yeah, she's a great character all around. I love the way she keeps people together
Yeah.
with the entire show. Like she is a voice of reason with everybody. Again, right behind Ida.
Right. So Ida is the heart's leader, and that's why he's number 1. Momo is the mind's leader.
But all right, so we all three have.
I wanted to say one more thing about
Bakugo and Todoroki.
about that.
All right.
So I know we all three have the same number, like one, two, like the top three are like the same, and I think you can tell who the top three in the class are halfway through the season when they do their 2-on-2s, because those three are the only three that whenever they're watching the matches, either they have internal monologue, which is Todoroki, or Momo who talks out loud, or Bakugo, which is internal monologue, realizing that these are like Todoroki, like I think Bakugo says he's the only person that can really compete with Bakugo at that point. That's how Bakugo sees it.
Bakugo thinks he's super outclassed by Todoroki.
Like you could say he thinks he's super outclassed.
That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks. That's part of why he was like about to leave.
And Momo herself, like she analyzes every single person's battle, like without a problem, and she knows why Ida was the person to win MVP and why he should have won MVP.
Right.
I think like halfway through the season, you know who the top three students are without a question of a doubt, which is why I think all of
and
our
I
lists are the
think
same.
I know for sure mine, your 1 and 2 are opposite.
Yeah. I'm just going. I'm going off of.
And
IQ
I have a
feats.
good reason why.
I have a good reason why too.
I don't think your reason's as good as mine.
I think it's better.
Okay, so all three of our number 1 and number 2 are obviously Bakugo and Todoroki, but who takes the number 1 spot for everybody?
My number 2 is Todoroki, only because
My number 2 is Bakugo.
My number 2 is Bakugo, and my number 1 is Todoroki.
So, Ray, give your reason.
Todoroki only uses half his power, which don't get me wrong, that quirk is disgusting, bro. You could pretty much beat anyone except for someone who is super agile in a fight, which Bakugo is his perfect counter if he's only using ice. And we know he only uses ice in season 1 because that's all he uses. So like,
Right, but he could flash freeze him. My reason he's number 1 isn't anything to do with the power.
you can go ahead. I was going to say more, but you can go ahead. Go ahead.
So, my number 1 is at this point. They're all strong, yes, but like if they had to take on someone really strong, I don't know that Bakugo is going to get the help that he would need, whereas Todoroki would, because people will look up to him. He's not a jerk, so they would help him. He's like third leader almost, mostly on actions, alone, but that's my thoughts on why he's number 1. Because his power gets him top 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, you admit that. But because he keeps a cool head, because he's, I wouldn't say friendly, but he's not unfriendly like Bakugo.
He's just modest,
I think he more deserves the number 1.
I was about to say, basically everything Jay-Z just said is similar to what I would say, so I can't really weigh into that because it's the same thing. But again, basing mine solely off of quirks, like Bakugo's or not Bakugo, Todoroki's quirk is hands down like the most overpowered and like
if he used both
absolutely
sides,
obliterate anybody if he uses both sides. And
I think
at this point, I see Rhett's reasoning for him getting a second spot because of season 1. But
I went off of just season 1
right now, strictly off of just quirks. Todoroki takes that spot tenfold.
Yeah, I just based my info like on season 2 is probably gonna change. Like my number 1 and 2 are they're probably gonna swap because that's just the truth. But I went based purely off of season 1 and the fact that like these two are so neck and neck in their IQ. Well, I will say that Bakugo is smart, like slightly smarter. Test scores are slightly higher.
In
It's the
test scores, yeah. I don't know
but in
about
physics-
Like, I'd say their combat and stuff. It's about the same.
I just think being so much more agile and so much faster than the opposition would get him a
Right.
dub in a fight against any one of
think-
these students.
It depends. If Todoroki thinks fast enough to freeze Bakugo, Todoroki wins. If he even slightly thinks about it, Bakugo wins.
The longer the fight goes on, but like even like I was gonna say this earlier, but the longer the fight goes on, the more in favor Bakugo has of winning any fight.
Oh, any
Yeah,
fight,
any
literally
fight.
any
And
fight,
then the
because he
longer-
gets sweatier.
The longer the fight goes on, Todoroki has a worse chance to win, even whenever he uses both quirks.
Right.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna use that in my discussion now, but like in the future, like when he uses both quirks, like you said, it's like a magic meter. He will run out of steam eventually, which I think is the only downside of his quirk is that it is like a magic meter, which is crazy.
Kind of, but he could use. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't talk about that now. But
Well, like I know what you're gonna say. He can use the heat to cool him down and the ice, but like
in the ice,
But his-
yeah.
like,
but
these are physical
that lets him use
abilities.
hotter
Yes.
fires. But yeah,
these are
yeah.
physical abilities. His is purely based off of he just can't produce it anymore. Like that's all he's got. Bakugo's always gonna have the nitroglycerin like sweat, but his arms are gonna eventually end up hurting. But that's only if he uses the big explosions, which is what the gauntlets are for. Which is why I say his IQ is higher because he incorporated it into his costume as well. Like he would beat Todoroki in a fight seven ways to Sunday right now because he built that like he built that feature into like he wants to win. He wants to be the best.
Right.
And I think like in season 2, we'll get to that whenever he like Todoroki just wants to not rely on his dad really. That's just really what it is. Which I think the character development of these side characters is so good. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Oh yeah, this one could have gone either way for 1 or 2. I personally think there's just more pros for Bakugo right now
Right.
in this moment. Which is why I wanted Hanshi on. Because I knew I thought Hanshi would choose Todoroki too. I wanted to argue with Hanshi on it the most.
Right.
Oh, that's all right. But I think we've had a great discussion here tonight, and I think we're gonna call it right here for now for season 1. But we will be back very soon with a season 2 coverage of My Hero.
Eventually.
Hopefully.
So yeah,
It's,
eventually.
it's so much fun talking
So
about
thank
stuff
you
like this
for-
that we all can get
Right.
passionate about.
Right.
Oh yeah, especially one that we all enjoy. Like it's gonna make for fun episodes. But we thank you all for listening to us talk about anime for the last hour. We hope you have a great day and enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye.